All right, YouTubers, here we are. Okay, back to continuing on this Weld Positioner table. What I have been trying to find some of this 20 wire and 7 wire cab tire, and I'm just not having very much luck here locally. So, suggestion was just to run some single wires through some liquid tight, and there's another fatter piece of liquid tight there, and so we'll see where that gets me. I think I might have to poke another hole in the bottom to try to get all the wires in the 20 wire through, but we'll see. So this is where we're at. I've got some cab tire here for the switch. That's all pulled apart. I decided on running 12.3 to that, and then 12.3 will run over from the switch, which I think that was an add-on afterwards anyways. Over here to the box, I've got a couple of these things out. The pivot motor assembly went to the top. The limit switch on the tilt went to the middle, and the turn motor wiring goes to the bottom here. So the tilt motor assembly, I've got all the wires individually numbered and marked, and on the terminal strip here, it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see very faintly, probably not very well here for you guys, but the terminal strip is numbered the same. So I've got these wire tags that I'm using here to mark the wiring. So that's been done. And like I say, I've got the limit switch, and you can continue to see how bad these things are. The limit switch and the tilt motor rather, labeled and wired. We have power coming into this box, so that comes from the that switch over here that's missing, so that comes in over here. We have that going into this terminal strip primarily on the bottom. Then we have the foot pedal, which I've already taken one wire up. Ooh, pardon my cameramanship. Got one wire disconnected here, and that runs up to this terminal strip up here, and this wire it's like 16 gauge or whatever, 132. So we've got one of them numbered, and I went and brought some masking tape out to mark some of the other ones. So any of the wires over here that are not marked, which is just one wire, this one here is green, it goes to ground. And this wire here that's completely melted away, also ground wire. So I'm going to mark these wires here just as ground and ground. One comes from this 20 wire cab tire, and one comes from the foot pedal. This red one from the foot pedal goes to this, what I'll assume is yellow. It looks like a yellow with a black stripe. Anyways, I'm just going to mark it so that I'll have that same connection afterwards. I'll mark both the red and this yellow wire, and then we'll get the foot pedal out of the way, and then we'll actually take a look to see if the wiring is just as bad throughout the cab tire, or if it's just bad in the exposed sections here. I'm going to assume that it's pretty bad everywhere, but we'll take a look. And then the next one to come out is going to be this power wire. And once you get all this wiring out of it, so this other motor, the turn motor, comes across here and loops up into this lower terminal strip. And then we'll see what I actually need for wires, and I'll try to I've got 6 different colors, a 14 gauge up there, white, brown, black, red, and yellow and green. I don't have a blue or anything like that kicking around, I don't think. But anyways, we'll try to distinguish the wires in the 6 or 7 wire cab tire anyways, as much as we can by color as well. And then the rest of them will just get marked. And then we'll see where we're at with the rest of the wiring. Like, some of this wiring is done internally. Once we get all this crap pulled out of it, like none of this wiring that you could see in here actually comes from any of the external wires. We've got a fuse here, and we've got a bunch of jumper wires, and we've got what looks like probably a wire with a diode maybe in it. I'll have to take a closer look at this assembly and see how that's doing. I think I'm going to take all the terminal strip screws. They're all pretty rusty, so I'm going to take them all off once I get all the wiring cleaned up, and just make sure that the terminal strip is clean, and then I'll make sure that the screws are clean, and if they're just garbage and if it's just easier for me to replace them, I think that that's what I'll probably do. And then, well, then I guess we'll see what's going on. See, like, look at that wire there. It's completely melted to this thing, and there's it's just in pretty bad shape. I think that one and that one may have connected at some point. And it's just totally friggin' foob wired. There looks like there was probably a cover, because there's a gasket, an O-ring gasket over top of this that was sealing this at one point in time. And then these wires were not all loosey-goosey like this. I don't imagine. Like, they probably came up properly into the bottom here, unless this cover that's missing had another grommet port or whatever on it. But I don't know. I don't think so. So I think these wires probably would have all run up through this same port so that it was nice and tidy and stayed inside this box, and then this box was enclosed to keep the dust and other debris off of the circuit boards. But alas, that's missing. So that's where we are. So I'm going to continue on getting the wires out of this for right now. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is mark, like these already have some markings on them. I'm just going to kind of confirm that they match up to what's going on here. Either that, or they match up here, or that they're matching up with the terminal strip numbers here. Like this one says 90, and I see that this one says 90. This one says 172, and I think we have 172 is this blue-green one here. So I think that there's some good match up there, but I need to document where everything's going in on which selector switch, because each one has a same 4-3 and an 8-7, and that's common amongst those two selector switches, so I don't want to bugger that up. Anyways, that's where I am so far. So I think this one's probably going to take me a little bit longer than I'd hoped. But we keep on plugging away, and hopefully we get this thing running. All right, guys. Oh, this one's getting long. Anyways, thanks for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Cheers.